I made a video about my vintage Mario Keshi figures. In the video, I was very constrained on information because information on these figures is very limited even on the internet. But recently, I came across a video on the Guinness World Record of the largest video game memorabilia collection, owned by Brett Martin. So, I decided to get into contact with Brett to see if he could shed some light on my vintage Mario Keshi figures. The information that I was either unsure of or missing in general. And the answer that I received was very exciting. So first of all, I've confirmed that this is the complete set of 17 figures right here. And once again, I talked about this in the last video, but I really love this Mario. I love it so much that I want to talk about it again. It's probably my favorite sculpt of a Mario, that's why I got this set. But we'll elaborate a little bit more on some stuff that also comes into play into why this is my favorite Mario collectible by far. So something else that I was able to confirm from Brett is that these came out in 1986, as I suspected, but something that I was wrong about was that these were made for Super Mario Bros. 2, the Japanese version. Something else that's really interesting that I learned from Brett is that these figures were actually party favors. Japanese party favors. Which makes sense because Keshi figures were probably very commonly used as party favors. So, I was also mistaken in last video by saying that these came out of a capsule machine. Now, that may not be true 100%. They may have actually come out of some capsule machines, but most likely they came in a set. Because a party favor you would want to get a lot of, right? So you would get a set of these and then give them out as party favors. So you could probably either buy these in sets or individually packaged, and then you would buy multiple of them, however many you would need for the party. So I would say that these figures would be the American equivalent of old school Cracker Jack prizes, or cereal box prizes. They're pretty much the same. But those were little plastic figures of things that you would collect. But in Japan, they had it a lot cooler because they would actually take franchised characters. So another thing about last video is I didn't really dedicate any time looking at each individual figure. So I feel like I should do that real quick, just to show you up close each figure. I mean, I did zoom in on them, but I didn't really talk about them or say which one they were, just in case people were confused. So first here we have the Paratroopa. Pretty simple, just the same as the Koopa, but with wings. Then we have the Hammer Brother. Pretty sweet design on that Hammer Brother there. Then we have the Spiny. Now, something else to note about these Keshi is that the set will have come in different colors. So that's why a complete set will maybe also have different colors, just because they were from different manufacturing times, but they're still from the same set. So the same figures are made in many different colors, but they're still part of the same set. We have the Blooper. Blooper here is green. As you can see, the Blooper came from the same run as the Peach. Mushroom. I like that. Now, maybe it's the Poison Mushroom, because this is Super Mario Bros. 2. Cheep. Now, something that's weird about these figures, they all have a hole right here. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's to stick them on a peg so you can, I don't know. But they all have a hole somewhere. This one has it. This one has a butthole. The Goomba. I think he has like a hand, yeah. Yeah, the Goomba has a hand, and it looks like he's giving you a thumbs up, or the bird. Either one. And this is definitely the most provocative one. We talked about this one last time, how it fits real well right here as Mario's Italian sausage. I mean, really, like, look at this thing. Seriously? Why are those two things even there on the bottom? To make it look like, you know, a ball sack. Like, that's not in the game. Why did they make it look like that? It's like they did it on purpose, you know? What's going on there? Next we have the Piranha Plant. which as you can see also came from the same set as the Lakitu, which we'll get to in a second. Pretty cool piranha plant there. It's pretty weak on that one point there. Gotta be careful with that one. Regular Koopa. As you can see, it's like the Paratroopa without the wings. Pretty much. I should have put those two next to each other, but you know. Toad. Now this is funny because Toad is like super small part of the game at this point, like in Mario 1 and 2. But he just kind of shows up and flips you off and teases you. So I don't know why he's there. So next here we have the Lakitu. Now, funny story about Lakitu here is my cousin, a long time ago when we didn't know the name of Lakitu, he actually like made up his own name for it and he called it Edison. I don't know why. Maybe because he had glasses. But I don't think Thomas Edison even had glasses. He was smart, so you know. But that's kind of a funny story about Lakitu there. It's a cool Lakitu figure, I think. It's got the cloud and whatnot. Now, this is interesting here. There's two Bowsers in this set. One is tiny, like this, and it looks a little different, but you can tell that it's definitely Bowser because, first of all, Bowser Jr. did not exist at this point at all, and nor did any of the Koopa kids. So we know we can rule out both of those things. So there's a smaller variation of Bowser, and then there's the bigger variation of Bowser for this set, which I like a lot better. I mean, obviously, it's like it's more in. I mean, it's still not to scale at all, but it's more so than this. This one's like smaller than Mario. What's going on there? That doesn't make sense at all. And we already took a look at Mario, but you know, he's the coolest one. So let's take a look at him again. Notice here he's holding a mushroom. I think that's cool too. It's very similar to my favorite of the Applause American Mario figures, also holding a mushroom. Still not as cool. This one looks like super fat for some reason. Like, I know Mario's supposed to be kind of chubby, but like, what's going on with his cheeks, man? It's like he's got the mumps. And here we are with Peach, or Toadstool, Frog Crab. She's got two buttholes. And last but least, the Buzzy Beetle. Literally, who cares? But here he is. I don't really know when I'm ever going to talk about this thing, so I may as well talk about it now when I'm talking about Mario 2. But this is a classic NES game carrying case. I love this thing right when I saw it in the Retro Game Trader that I actually made a video about before. But this thing is leather with a nice brass, probably Nintendo logo. This thing is nice. I love it. Thing is it doesn't hold too many games, which makes sense. I mean, you know, what do you expect? It's not that big. But I have some of my favorite games in here. We've got Arcade Mario Bros, Legend of Zelda, Metroid, the Donkey Kong Classics cartridge, which has Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr., the game that I'm talking about, Super Mario Bros. 2. Now, this may be my very favorite game of all time. Either that, or Super Mario Bros. 1 or World. This game is great because once you've beaten Super Mario Bros. 1 a million times, it's pretty easy, you know, and it starts to get a little bit boring. It's still fun, you know, but this adds a much-needed challenge to the game, and that's why I really love this game specifically. Now, I also love how it says Super Mario Bros. 2, unlike the Super Mario All-Stars version, which only says Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. Because that's not what this is. Okay, I do not identify this as Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. This is Super Mario Bros. 2. Now, the reason why I said some of my favorite games, another game that's also technically part of the Mario series, but not many people know about it, is Wrecking Crew. And because not many people talk about Wrecking Crew, I'm actually probably going to do a review on this game in the future. another classic, Super Mario Bros. 3. Great game. Now, this next game is not a Mario game, but it's also one of my favorite games. I believe this cartridge is broken a little bit. Oh, it is. Yep. Punch-Out. You know, I could take, like, my tennis cartridge and then take the sticker off and put that on because I don't care about the tennis cartridge. But the next game could also be a contender for one of my favorite games. Versus Super Mario Bros. The arcade game on an NES cartridge. Now, I'm definitely going to be doing a review on this game because, like the Super Mario Bros. 2 cartridge, this is a homebrew cartridge, and nobody has reviewed this copy of the game on YouTube. So, that's definitely going to be a future review. Something that's interesting about this Super Mario Bros. 2 cartridge is it's actually an exception to one of my rules, which is that if I'm going to buy a cartridge game, I'm going to want to get an original copy of the game before I get a reproduction. And the only reason why I broke this rule with Super Mario Bros. 2, the Japanese version, is because for me to get an original copy of this game, I would not only need to acquire a Nintendo Famicom, but also a Nintendo Famicom disk system and a disc copy of the game. So, I'll just go with an NES copy, so I don't have to get any of that. Because that would honestly be the only game I'd really be interested, especially on the Famicom disk system. You could still get The Legend of Zelda with the Pulse voice mechanism on the regular cartridge Famicom. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like down below and subscribe for more vintage Mario, Sonic, Pokemon, Star Wars, and more.